What's up, y'all? Shuffle. In today's video is going to be talking about how to build a dodge team. So in the team building series we've done so far, we've covered dance teams, damage over time teams, and mark teams, and now we're going to cover dodge teams, which is really the last major archetype we need to talk about. I don't think there are any others I missed. The rest are pretty much these four. So we're going to talk about why they're good, how to make them, who goes in them, what to use, when to use these teams, and then some fundamental strategy stuff, and I'll give you some examples for teams, and then we'll also do a battle, and I'll explain the thought process on that, just because I did that for the last one and people seem to enjoy that, so we'll do that one again. But this team is from Anemone, who's a very cool person, and they usually use stuff like Miller's Pipe and CC trinkets and stuff like that, and I really do feel like anti-CC set, Crimson Court set, is very good. But those are DLC things, and so I'll try and keep the DLC stuff more to a minimum because I know a lot of new players don't have all of it yet, but also stuff that you can probably work towards early in like mid games, like green trinkets and stuff. But when I do the example battle, we'll have to use some high level stuff just because it's champion. But anyway, this team is pretty cool because you have some fundamental stuff, like I was saying, with the dodge strat, the trinkets, and the skills, and this is an example of like a dodge tank Jester, which we'll talk about again later. But what I want to talk about with dodge teams is that you don't have to do this thing like everyone assumes that for dodge teams you have to get like 150 dodge on everyone at all times or it doesn't work, and that's not what you need. So some basic mechanic stuff. Dodge, like if you keep adding dodge, it's going to subtract from the enemy accuracy. It's just very additive property, very easy to understand. But also the enemy, no matter how high your dodge gets, it could be 1,000 dodge, but you always have a 5% chance to hit. So that's why it's not really as important to get massive amounts of dodge. So really what you're aiming for in terms of like dodge totals is to get your chance to about 50%, maybe like 60, 70 if you can. But usually 50% chance to dodge the enemy's attacks is enough. And dodge is pretty plentiful on all of the heroes, and it scales pretty well by leveling up your armor. And so for the numbers aspect of it, you know, this is the averages for the most part. You know, some enemies have more, some have less. But at Apprentice, you're looking at about 81% accuracy, maybe like 80. And then at Veteran, you're looking at about 88% accuracy, so that's not a big jump between the two of them. And then when you get to Champion, a lot of enemies have about 102, 107, or 112 for accuracy. Again, some can be higher or lower, but those are the numbers you have to keep in mind. So again, about 81 for Apprentice, 88, 89 for Veteran, and then about 102 or 107 for Champion, which means you should have about 40 dodge for Apprentice, maybe 50 dodge or 45 dodge for Veteran, and then if you can get to like 55, 60 dodge or Champion, that is good enough. The other thing too is that there are some dodge characters out there that we think about that really contribute to the dodge strategy, such as Man-at-Arms with Tactics and Bolster. Those give your team dodge. We also have Antiquarian, who is probably what most people think about with dodge teams, spamming Invigorating Vapors, which, you know, that works. Vapors, not as good at level 0, 1, and 2. Gets better later, like mid-game to late game. So until then, you could still use Flash Powder instead, which is a good substitute. But the biggest thing for dodge teams, it's not running someone like Man-at-Arms and using the Crystal Dust to spam Bolster endlessly. The actual core of any dodge team are your trinkets. So skills and stuff really help, but you really want to have dodge trinkets on your team. So just as an example, low level stuff like Camouflage Cloak, which I'll be calling Camo Cloak going forward. This is 15 dodge if your torch is up. Most of us are probably playing at this light level anyway. So if you look here, Antiquarian has a quirk, so she's bumped up, but even with just one trinket and this quirk, she's at 50 dodge. And if you remember, I was talking about at Champion, enemies have 102, 107, 112 accuracy. So she's already at about 60% chance to be hit, which is pretty solid in terms of a dodge strat. It's almost a coin flip every time they swing at you, which is really good. And I can get this higher by spamming Vapors or using Bolster or using Tactics at camp. So you see, it's very quick in terms of how fast you can ramp up dodge to respectable numbers. But the important thing are your trinkets. So a lot of good ones that are low level, mid level. Camouflage cloak, as I talked about. Feather crystal, you're gonna see these a lot. But some characters have class specific ones, like Jester has lucky dice and very high base dodge. So there are a few different ways you could trinket a team like this, but really what you want to do is make sure you get dodge up to a respectable amount. And I'm not going to go too in depth on how to play each team. I'm going to suggest it's more just to show you. So if you want to see what the skills and stuff that I pick are, feel free to pause the video and take a look. This next team is Thick's Farmstead team. This is called Scoundrels, that's what he named it. And this team got over 10,000 kills in Endless, which is incredibly impressive. And so I could go through and show you every single trinket option you could run for these teams, but really what you're looking for is like maybe some kind of specific class trinket like stun chance or something that helps you enact the strategy you're trying to do, or just stuff you can pass around like neutral trinkets. But mainly when you're looking at dodge trinkets, you're specifically coming to some like these ones here. Like there might be a couple others or class trinkets, but these are like the primary ones. So Camouflage cloak, as I talked about before, just 15 dodge, fantastic. Feather crystal, also insane. Then we have sun cloak. There's also moon cloak, which is really good, and torchless. And torchless is a bit weird because this is a small tangent, but in torchless it's harder to get more dodge because the enemies get a bonus thing to accuracy, or just a bonus to accuracy, but they hit so much harder compared to regular that dodging becomes even better. So you can still run dodge and torchless, it's still good. Moon cloaks are fantastic, so don't sleep on those if you decide to play a challenge run like that. But sun cloak is really good too. Then we have tempting goblet, very rare drop from the goblet bros in the ruins. Like when I say very rare, I mean like super incredibly rare for most intents and purposes. Overture box, this comes from Madman. And then ancestors coat, ancestors candle, and Wilbur's flag. These are pretty much late game drops. The candle you can get a like pretty early if you're lucky, but the rest of these are like late game stuff. So, and then the boxes, like I said, these come from Madmen, and it's just a very rare drop. But these are usually the things you're first looking to when you're going to build a dodge team in terms of trinkets. But this specific team is really cool, and a team like this, you have a lot of control from stuns like Hands from the Abyss. You can run Rampart if you want to, or I guess you're not running Blackjack, but you know, you could, if you want to swap these two, I guess, but you probably shouldn't. But anyway, so that's, you know, the basis of how to build this stuff. But things that really stand out for a team like this, besides the stuff we talked about before, like Vapors and Bolster, is Houndmaster's guarding. So Houndmaster is a dodge tank, and Houndmaster gets at least one class specific dodge trinket, which is the protective collar. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to go a dodge strat and you want to guard with Houndmaster and not run a team like this, right? This is what I was saying before. Dodge teams don't really need, you know, the whole team specifically with like 1,000 dodge and stuff like that in order to function. If you wanted to do a dodge team for a boss or something, and you know how the boss works, and you know that, you know, they like single target a lot, or they do targeting that's very predictable that you can deal with, you know, maybe they have mark synergy that they try and exploit, you can just give Houndmaster protective collar and camouflage cloak and then guard the target that he knows about to get hit. Then you pretty much have a dodge team already. So it's kind of like the other things we were talking about before, where with dance teams you don't need everyone going back and forth doing stuff. With dot teams you don't need the entire team dumping bleeds into people. With mark teams the entire team doesn't have to be part of the mark synergy. And the same thing is with dodge teams. So you can have someone like Houndmaster dodge tank for stuff, and then also Jester can dodge tank. So we're going to talk about Jester here in a sec. Alright, now we're going to show off the last team that we have ready here, and we're going to do a not mock battle, but a tutorial battle. And so I want to show that I have the performance hall for the 2 speed on Jester, and this matters a bit because this team gets a little harder to get the speed values right because of that building specifically. Otherwise I'd be fine at 9 speed, but because of this we're going to be pushing Grave Robber up to 14 speed so she can lunge on turn 1 ahead of Jester, so this team can actually do what it needs to do. Otherwise, I would run something like, where is it? Letter Opener. This accuracy, damage, and dodge. So this is ideally better if you don't care too much about getting the speed orders right, but this is a Jester tank team, so because of that, we have to make sure that Jester can go early and set up with solo, which means that we We have to get lunge off first so we could solo on turn 1. Otherwise, this might not work as well or as cleanly as it would. But again, this is only specifically because I have the performance hull. If you don't have the performance hull, or you have a speed quirk on Grave Robber, my other one has Luminous, and she's in the Sanitarium right now, but if you had a way to get higher speed, then this wouldn't matter as much. But as such, I'm going to run it. But this is a team that I did for Team of the Week, and it's pretty cool. So we're gonna run it again just because it's easier for me that way. And otherwise, it's some damage, frontline occultist setup. You're probably used to it if you see my videos. Tank Jester. Something that I forgot that I did in the video was actually I took off Ballad because you don't really need it as much. You can swap into Tune later, but Slice Off is a pretty good thing to do if you get bad speed rolls. The thing is, we need to lunge past Jester and get solo. And then we're running a little bit of dodge on Plague Doctor, who has Blasphemous Vial, which is insane. So, proving a bit difficult to find a good mash for an example battle, but just to show this one. So we got a surprise, which is cool. We got our speed in right order. Grave Robber's going first. The Thrall is the most threatening thing here. We got a low roll on that, but this is what we need. So we get solo up. So now hopefully we can dodge tank whatever this stuff wants to do. Kill this with Blanks, it's easier. Don't have to kill Thrall until turn 2. Actually, we're gonna stun. Yeah, we'll stun Ghoul, so we don't have to deal with them this turn. So we gotta play properly, right? We don't want to get hit in the face as much as possible. So, okay. Good dodge. We have 98 dodge because of solo. I said you don't need a zillion dodge on your team, but it does help. I was getting hit a bit in the last fight too. It kind of sucked. I could use pick on this. Oh, well. Definitely showing that I haven't played enough DD lately. Get this with pick. Dirk Stab. Gotta kill this thing this turn. Probably kill it with Occultist. No, you know what? We'll kill with this.
Continue the onslaught.
And then we'll try and double stun here. Nope. Rend. I love seeing it. I love seeing Ghoul waste turns. Of course, now it can hit us with, what you call it? It can hit us with Howl or something like that if I want to be a jerk, but we're gonna try and not let it do that. So what's really cool about Jester tank too, especially with Fingerbone, Fingerbone's nuts, is that, I guess I should talk about Fingerbone. So a lot of people when they see Fingerbone, they think that it's like, well, what's Jester doing in rank 1 besides Finale? You can sit in rank 1 and Dirk Stab spam. That's what makes it really good. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit up here, use this, our mark's gone. Feels bad, but we can Finale next turn. We're gonna stun it, we're gonna Finale next turn. This fight's pretty much over. This fight's definitely over. Uh-oh. Oh no! Woo! Alright, sorry. So the other cool thing too is accuracy debuffs do help with the dodge strats, so something like Noxious Blast or Flash Powder, for instance. Look at that. Already charged up Finale so fast. You know, we're getting 2 fights. I didn't want to cut the other one because I kind of liked it, but also, this is a really good match. So this is something really funny that is in this game, is that Squiffy Ghast will always attack Jester. I guess they're just pissed off as musicians or something, but I think there's a low reason in DD2, but that's a different game. So in this one, they kind of have a musician's duel, but we're gonna do the same thing as before. We're gonna kill Thrall as quickly as we can. Did not get the lunge crit solo. This is really gonna help against Gas specifically. And yeah, we'll actually do Plague Grenade. Try to get enough damage here. Normally you open Blinding Gas, but we don't want to stall Thrall on turn 1 in case we have to stall it on turn 2. And then also, we can't really stall Ghast reliably, but the, what is it, the Piranha, I call these Cove Lepers, I actually never cared about learning their names, but, oh, they're groupers, that's it. But these guys can kind of disrupt what we're doing, even though we have some pretty good dodge, but it cannot hit Jester up here, which is our tank, so we're gonna stun it. Just for this turn. We could have stunned this. This might guard over here, which could be a bit problematic. I probably should have put some actual extra dodge on Occultist. I really thought the dodge tank with the mark and stuff would do enough, but so far it kind of isn't. But now we have Dirk Stab. And then there's the crit I wanted.
A faint hope blossoms.
I could lunge a second time, but it's not really necessary right now. So we're gonna do this for the assured kill, do the 1 damage even if the blade resistant dies. And then we stun Dirty. It should cleave us, the gas should, because that's what it does when it gets up front. Yeah. Dodge. That move doesn't have a lot of accuracy if I remember correctly, but it's still cool to see that, right? So the extra dodge on the team is helping. And so we're gonna lunge to get the extra damage, and then we're actually gonna finale this turn. Then hopefully Grave Robber tanks a little bit up here, but we can solo afterwards too.
Destroyed.
I should have finale this, my god. No, it had prot, that was the right choice. Well, we can go for a double stun, why not? Nice. So we're pretty safe now. And if you wanted to stall, this is where you do it. We can use Jester to... We're gonna leave Grave Robber up here, because if we Shadow Fade, it kind of screws stuff up. So we're going to use Cultist to do a little bit of damage. I do not have Stress Heal on, so actually if you had Stress Heal instead of Slice Off, you've seen we haven't really needed Slice Off, but if you finale to the back and then have Inspiring Tune, you can start pumping it out right now. So we could, you know what, let's solo anyway. So Jester's at 104 dodge. We're gonna wear this dude down. I said we can stall, we're just setting him up to die over the next couple turns. Oh, did not attack my tank, it didn't matter, she has enough dodge. We could Shadow Fade. In the interest of stalling, we're gonna Shadow Fade. Normally I would just pick and end this fight, but I really want to show this off. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter because we're just stabbing, it's dead here. Heal! Woo! Alright, I'm glad I got this extra fight in, so... We're gonna stuff our torch for maximum loot. This is playing properly if you have enough torches.
Can be found in the most tenebrous corners
Loot!
of this place.
Throw away the citrines. And we're gonna stop there. So that's how to play dodge teams, how to make them and stuff. The times you want to bust these out are specifically for bosses and Endless Harvest. You can run them in regular dungeons and stuff, and they'll do just fine as you saw here, but it's not necessary, and they're a bit slower than normal compared to other teams in terms of how they play, but this one's going decently fast. So I think that's it for all of my stuff. To recap, like I said, for dodge teams, you can have like some kind of dodge tank like Houndmaster or Jester. You could also just run Antiquarian and Man-at-Arms, that's fine. You can, you know, do a lot of good things with that. The most important thing of dodge teams are trinkets. Skills are secondary, but trinkets are the most important, as you saw. Fingerbone, literally MVP for Tank Jester. And you're really just open in terms of what you can do, so you don't have to put anti and Man-at-Arms on every team. As long as you have the trinkets for it, you can make any team into a dodge team. And you don't need to get your dodge past 50% of what the enemy can do. It helps if you have more, obviously, but it's not that necessary. But that's it for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And if there are any other videos you want to see, I got other stuff in the works, but it's not done yet, obviously. So that's it for this one. Kind of botched the outro right there, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.